Travis Brawner, I apologize to you live on the air because I never talked about your running back capabilities. I only talked about your kicking. And I told Bo Jackson that, and he laughed. How are you, Travis?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
To see you.
Morning,
Good morning.
Travis.
Good to see you guys.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
One of the things I always like to tell our new listeners is you used to live over by Dulas Road. You had the little field, I think, called Campbell next to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Campbell Field next to your house. How many balls did you kick on that field?
Too many to count.
Did you have
Thousands.
anybody
Too many to
retrieving them?
count.
Did you have like a younger brother or something say, go get that ball for me, or did you have to go get them yourself?
So, no, but at one point I trained our family Labrador to retrieve the footballs, and so that did save me some steps.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
And you played some soccer, right? You were a soccer style kicker.
Youth soccer, yeah, up until about 6th grade. And then, soccer, it just – in the past couple of decades really has come into popularity, beyond that, it seems, in the United States, especially in the Midwest. But we didn't have much soccer available. But I always expected to play football. Grew up with Dad being a football coach and a player himself at University of Arkansas. So once I got into junior high, 7th grade, started playing football.
Why kicking instead of, some of the other positions? Quarterback or whatever, receiver or whatever.
So you mean beyond high school?
Yeah.
So
Keith,
Charlie's holding his
let me
hand
go
up.
back. Travis was a running back.
Oh.
He was a fullback.
Oh, okay.
And
I did
I'm
not know.
running back, tailback, right?
Yeah. Fullback and tailback.
In Hancock's operation. Because
Right.
Hancock said anything
Yeah.
over a 3-foot pitch is a problem. Okay.
All right, so after high school.
In high school, just a second.
Okay.
In high school, even though he kicked, his major position was running back.
Okay. Then how did the kicking take over?
So I mentioned my dad played for University of Arkansas, and I watched the aches and pains that he had, and realized the longevity of a kicker is probably more so than that of a running back or a linebacker, and so, I did play running back and linebacker in high school, but kind of on a more global scale, kicking was where I was best.
If you're in the game right today, it's the last deal. You're going to do the field goal to win it. Could you?
Today?
Today.
Are you lining up against me to try to block it?
No.
Or we have Charlie.
Matt and Charlie are lining up.
And Matt would be offsides.
If it's a PAT, maybe so. Back it up a little bit more, maybe so. I don't know.
The strength of the leg just
That's fine.
No,
it changes, doesn't it?
So
yeah.
we're going to be a little long in this segment because I have to ask you this question.
Okay.
I haven't watched any of the preseason games much at all, but I did see this. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 4th down and some, okay, and went for it. And they got stopped on their own 49.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, I'm watching, and here comes Harrison Butker out. And I'm counting up 49, 10 in the end zone's 59. My goodness sakes alive, and the players are just going crazy. He kicked a 69-yard field goal.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
So believe it or not, most, if not all, NFL kickers are capable of that distance, and even most high-level college kickers are capable of that distance. The reason you don't see it is because it's a percentage and field position game, right? So, like you said, it was their own 49-yard line where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went for it, and so then you have it was probably, I didn't see it. It was the end of the half or
in the first half.
Into the first half. So
the pressure's not that bad.
It doesn't matter if he misses it. The half's over. You go to the locker room. If he makes it, you got 3 points. It's just why not? So, but in the middle of the third quarter, you're not going to take that chance.
Sure.
So because you're going to punt the ball and get the field position. So it's a statistics game of percent. Can they make them? Yes. Are they going to make them at a high percent enough to be willing to send him out on 4th down and give up the field position if you miss it? No.
We're going to continue this for a few more minutes because we don't want to talk anything but medical missions when we come back. So we'll take a little bit. Chris, will be just a few minutes before we go to the 7:30 break.
Crystal.
This is ish right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a look at these kickers, what you just said, and the record doesn't mean anything. Do you remember why, Keith?
Oh, why? These are
Exhibition games.
Yeah, right.
So the record,
Yeah.
But in the game, Chiefs got beat because he missed an extra point. What? And a 49-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Which counted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep in mind, an extra point's 35-yard field goal now. Remember when it was a 20?
Wow.
A few years back. So the extra point that's one thing they did. I can't remember. It was a few years ago now that the NFL moved them back just to make it less automatic, which goes to show you how good kicking has gotten over the years.
So, how did the guy? Oh, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
How does the guy? Yourself, you've been there. Come out in a game that's it's on the line, and it's all on you. You know that everybody on your team is looking at you. They're going to either smack you in the locker room when it's over or hug your neck. How do you get through that to just do what you know how to do?
So, and I can only tell you from experience for me, and keep in mind, Charlie, I'll be 50 next year.
Bring that up, would you?
My last football game was a long time ago, going on 30 years ago.
Wow.
And, we've got a local Branson guy that's kicking in the NCAA now, right? Dane Eford is up at University of Kansas, and he's kind of fighting for position up there. But Dane's he's a great kicker, and I look forward to seeing what he can do. But to answer your question, though, Keith, kicking a field goal, I always approach like shooting a free throw. Yes, I laughed about you trying to come across and block it, but really, if you, as much as you can standardize everything with kicking an extra point or a field goal, then the more muscle memory it's going to be. And so I always said you see the kickers going through their routines, you line it up, they look funny, they raise their arm, they look kind of up at the uprights, take the steps. All of that is so that once the ball is snapped, everything else is the exact same for every single kick. And so, Keith, when for every kick, regardless of whether it's a last-second winning field goal or if it's a PAT that doesn't really matter, approaching every single one the same gets your mindset and your muscle memory the same, so you're more likely to be consistent.
Okay. If Brad Dollif's listening today, he'll get a kick out of this. Brad helped me announce high school football for years. And I would do something. I want to apologize. So shame on myself for even telling this story. If we would be playing somebody like Ozarks, I just did, Brad, Republic or Nixa, right, Keith?
Yeah.
And there was a critical field goal or extra point coming up. I would say something like this. I wouldn't call the kicker's name. I would say, and long snapping is, and the holder is.
Yeah.
Well, nobody ever does that.
Yeah.
Nobody, and many times we took credit because he missed the field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great talk to you. I want to do one other thing before we go.
Okay.
Travis Brawner went to school, played for some professional football for Green Bay in preseason, whatever you call that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that right? Was it Green Bay?
Yeah.
But yet he was going to school to be a doctor, Keith. An ENT, an ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Correct.
And I got to say, not only are they friends, but he's one of the top in the area.
Absolutely.
And there was a time when there was a tornado warning, and he came over to the house on Pathway, Keith.
That was the 2012 Joplin tornado.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said,
20, that was 2011. 2012 was Branson. Sorry.
And I said something about kind of faking like a little heart problem, Keith. And Travis looks over at me and says, "Well, too bad I can't help you. I deal with above the shoulder."
Above the shoulder.
I'll never forget that. But I've had the opportunity to go to Travis, and he's pretty doggone good.
I've been there too a couple times.
Thank you so much.
You do a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
How hard was med school? 30 years ago.
Med school was hard. People overlook residency, I think.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Residency is where it got really hard. So med school's hard, residency's harder. It's if you've ever summited a mountain, you know how it gets steeper at the top, and that's kind of medical training. So it just gets harder and harder along the way. So
before we take the next segment, you have an office over on Branson Hills Parkway, Keith.
Yep.
In that area, I think Hills Chiropractic's over there, and Maddox New Prater.
Yep.
The new Swan Clinic is over there. And Travis has a nice office there.
Yes, certainly does. By the way, he had a procedure yesterday, and he's got a throat. Would you look at his throat and see if he's okay?
No.
Yeah. There are a lot of people listening, and I know a lot of people don't want to know about procedures, especially specifics of procedures, Charlie. I don't know what procedure you had, but
Well, I had a TE, whatever that is.
Okay, good. Well, that's
and they put that scope down your throat.
That's
which you know.
That's
So you
that's
got to
the
do
scope at the top end.
Yeah, you got to do me a favor.
Uh-huh.
You gave me some numbing medicine one time. This stuff is terrible. And I said, we've got to all stop, go and get a cherry flavor. So yesterday, before they did the scope, the guy said, open your mouth. And this stuff tastes terrible. Let me tell you what, it tastes terrible.
Yeah.
So if you could get out of practice and get a cherry flavored spray, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Hey, yes, we will. You stay with us right here on Good Morning Ozarks. Welcome to the 7:30 half hour of Good Morning Ozarks. Keith O'Neill and Charlie Ingram this morning. 7:38 this morning. Travis Brawner is here with us. And Travis, how would folks find you and on a website for you and all that kind of thing?
Well, Charlie mentioned earlier, our office is up on Branson Hills Parkway, and really a simple phone call is probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. It's 335-3636.
Great number.
I guess we have to give the area code these days. 417-335-3636. Charlie and I remembered. Keith remembers too. The days where.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember in Branson where we would just give the last four? Because it was all 334.
Oh,
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
What's your number? I'm growing up. It was 3514.
And then they went to 335, blew everybody.
It did, because then you got to say the 334, 335.
And then somebody started using the
336.
And when you would write it down, but when you would write it down, you would write 4-3514
Right.
or 5- whatever. So,
Now,
yeah.
are you taking new patients? Because you're a specialist at ENT, I know that.
Right.
Do you take new patients, or is it mainly referrals?
So it's a lot of referrals. We do take self-referrals for some certain conditions,
Okay.
but some we need the primary care to see first.
So let me tell the audience, and I'm serious as a heart attack, and that's serious, Keith.
That is serious.
I only take care of the shoulders up.
I know
Yeah,
you
that's
do.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, Keith, your job is to call 911 if something happens.
Yeah.
Travis, to finish the show. Your staff and what you've done and how you've done it, professionalism is great. But when you go to a doctor and you have an ear problem like Keith has had or I've had, or you have a nosebleed situation like I had, and you go to you, having somebody that you trust makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But you have a trust somewhere else. When you, Matt, Chance Thurman, on and on and on, were in high school. Do you remember Friday mornings, Thomastown Donuts, and Fellowship of Christian Athletes?
I picked them up several times on the way in because Charlie would call me in the morning and say, "Hey, you're going to drive past Tom's? Can you pick the donuts on the way to FCA?" So yeah, sure, Charlie, I'll pick them up. So
Sure.
as long as you already paid for them, I'll pick them up.
As long as he paid for them,
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
them up. How long ago did you put out your shingle and open the door and say, "Here I am"?
So we moved back to Branson in 2009 and graduated from residency in Oklahoma City, and moved right back home, set up practice, and have been here ever since. So.
And what's so great about that is I think of the Westcott family, I think of the Brawner family and Matt Ingram and his family, and other people have been able to come back to Branson, raise their families. Do you have anybody that's been raised here and went to school here, graduated here, went to C of O, and got girls that's going to graduate, and you have a son at home?
Yes. So our oldest, Jameson, he come to think of it, he went all the way through.
Crazy.
We homeschooled. He
Right.
homeschooled for several years and then finished at Branson. Same with Owen, who finished at Branson as well. But they're both graduated in college. Jameson just graduated from C of O, and he's
crazy.
doing pre-dental prereqs
Oh,
at
my
Missouri
goodness.
State.
Oh,
So.
my.
Yeah, so we
have him go see
yeah.
Chandler Hall. He can work under Chandler.
Right. He's done a lot with Chandler. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Chandler's
Yeah.
great.
Yep, absolutely.
He gets
So
your
yes,
mouth.
we moved back home and have now, we've got another generation that's come through
Tell us about
in
your
this
youngest
community.
son.
So Mason
Yes.
is he just turned 9.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah, it's hard to believe. So we've got 4, and then our daughter Kaylin is a junior. She's just starting her junior year homeschooling and playing volleyball. Volleyball's her thing.
Following her mom.
Just proud as we can be of them. They're great kids and young adults, and we're blessed for sure by them.
Keith, we're going to get back to FC in just a second because that's where I was at for just a second. I got another question for Travis. You said something to me off the air, and I guess if that's how you look at me, that's fine because I can say what I want to say and not feel bad about it. Right, Keith?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you a farmer?
I would consider us hobby farmers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had chickens?
Yes.
Have you ever had goats?
Yes.
Keith, here's your nose and throat specialist,
Yeah.
and he's a farmer.
Yeah. Wow.
Which was your favorite?
Between chickens and goats?
Yeah.
That's hard. The chickens give us eggs. The goats gave us milk. I never did like the goats' milk, but the goats they're hard to handle, and they get into everything, and they eat everything.
stink.
So boy, they're loud,
Stink.
but they're endearing that way. So I think
It's good therapy, isn't it?
it is.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Let's go back to FCA.
Okay.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Steve Hancock had a requirement, Keith.
What was it?
I don't think he ever said if you're going to start tonight, you're going to be at FCA. He didn't say that. He would never do that. He didn't say if you want to be on the team, be at FCA. But he strongly encouraged the players to come to FCA.
Yeah. Did your dad or your mom ever tell you they were disappointed in you about something? So it was
Right.
kind of that. I'm going to be disappointed if I don't see you there, kind of thing. But everybody, we had a great group, and people willingly went and participated, and it was great. Steve Hancock, I still say, is top notch, one of the best ever. Of course, he's the only one I played under head coach in high school. But you mentioned earlier, talking about Football Friday tomorrow, and when you think about the percent of these young men that are going to go on and play college, and even the smaller percent of these young men, they're going to go on and play professional. What's more important, them developing their football skills or their character? And Steve Hancock always emphasized character development, and the young men, that adults now, the husbands and dads and community leaders, like you said, that came out of his programs are top notch, in large part because of him.
So Keith, on Friday mornings over at the old high school, which is the junior high, here would come the Thomastown Donuts,
Right.
and the kids would come eat them like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And it was open to people besides athletes, Keith, to
really?
keep this understood.
Okay.
Everybody was invited to FCA.
Wow.
And so it'd start in the mornings, it'd have the donuts, and then we'd have a speaker. Your dad came many, many times to speak, a motivational speaker. Talk about their faith with their football, faith with athletics. What a difference it makes. Your faith grew with youth life, FCA, and your own personal experiences. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think, for a follower of Jesus, it starts there, regardless of what you're doing, whether in word or deed, right? If it's at work or your recreation, with your family, with your church, in Him we live and move and have our being, right? And that's everything. So, I think that it's what the Lord desires of us, that our faith flow through everything that we do.
And I made an error that I should correct. You spent years in the shadow of Kennecott camps. Joe White, Debbie Joe, and Spike, and Darnell, and Cooper, and on and on and on and on and on. How much did that formulate some of your beliefs before youth life in FCA?
I had a lot of great godly people in my life that influenced me in a great way for the Lord. And all those people you mentioned, yeah, absolutely.
So I'll wrap up with this, Keith, and we want to get into his medical mission because Travis Brawner went to I had a medical problem, Keith,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty severe.
He was
and
out of town.
And I got this packing in my nose,
Yep.
and it's uncomfortable,
Oh yeah.
and it's got to come out.
Yep.
So you call your local doctor, only to find out he won't be here.
Mm-hmm.
Went on a mission trip. I'm going to wrap up with this. I'm going to paint the picture and hope you can see this. I'd come from the house, walk across the field at your high school football games, walk up the stands to the press box. When the young white boy played, not a young white, Joe White's son played, Spike would always be sitting on the corner. And you got to remember, camp would be over by this time, and they'd be sitting there. He had an old blue Kennecott hat on. And I'd be walking up the stands. He'd always stop me, had a bag of popcorn in his hand, took that blue hat off. Keith, it was rotten, sweat and stinky, and he'd take popcorn,
Pour it in there.
pour it in the hat, and give me the hat. I've kept so many of those hats every year of Spike White's. Is that a story you can get a picture of?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can see it as you're telling the story. Absolutely. Yeah.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
And I ate the popcorn.
Yeah.
I bet you did.
Keith,
Travis is part of the teaching team over at Woodland Hills, and several weeks ago, Ted got up and talked about a group from the church going on a medical mission trip, and you were part of that. Might have even been in charge of that. But tell me about that trip. Where did you go? How long were you there? What were you there for? And give me some reaction to what you found.
A little background. Paul Etheridge is a member at Woodland Hills, and if you don't know Paul, Paul was not just former state trooper. He was head of the SWAT team for Missouri State Highway Patrol, Special Forces Army. This guy, as I described at church, he's like if you take G.I. Joe, Rambo, and Bear Grylls and wrap them up into one person. That's Paul. So. Yeah. He's been going deep into the jungle on mission trips for literally 30 years plus, primarily with construction being the purpose, and of course evangelism through the building of these churches. So, if you know the story, and most Christians do, I think, know the story of Jim Elliot, Nate Saint, and those that were martyred in the jungle in Ecuador in the mid 20th century. Evangelizing there. It's kind of in that region, about 50 miles away is the main area that we went to, and where Paul has been going for a long time with Tim and Debbie Anderson, who are missionaries that moved there 35 years ago. And it's interesting in that area. You go from Quito, which is the capital, and you'll drive for about 4 or 5 hours till you really get to the edge of the jungle, and then you keep driving and get deeper into the jungle, and eventually you run out of road and you can't go any farther, and you have to hike in. And it's deep in that space where there are these small villages, about 50 to 75 people that for a long time were unreached, but because of the work of Tim Anderson and his wife Debbie and their evangelism have spread the gospel and have churches in these small villages. And that's part of the work that Paul has done, has gone and helped build structures somewhere for them to gather and meet, because they have their huts, and they in their villages they didn't really have a common place they could meet. And if you're not familiar, Charlie, it rains in the rainforest quite a bit. So building structures for them to meet in is important. So for a long time, for many years, Tim and Paul had talked about trying to get medical back into the jungle. At their main base in a place called Kumai, it's a Bible school that they've built, and it's right next to the Pastaza River, which, if you can imagine a river at least as wide as Taneycomo at its narrowest part there. And it's moving like the buffalo does after a heavy rain. So it's not easy to get across, not easy to get resources or people across. And just recently in the past few years, they've gotten boats that are better, about one boat, as a matter of fact, a little 40 horsepower land steer motorboat to get you across, which is a little concerning. But that's kind of limited resources getting back into the jungle. And so they've waited and looked and talked about people that would be willing to go, that can hike back in, can go across this river, willing to pack in some resources, some medicines and things, and take a medical trip back there. And so Paul had been floating that idea with myself and a few others the past couple of years, and tried to put one together. I think a year or two ago it kind of fell apart, and so Paul and I put our heads together. I said, let's just go. Let's just, you, me, and maybe one other person. And we brainstormed. John Mall is a wound care specialist up here at Cox. And I talked to John about it. He said, yeah, I'm in. Let's go and just see where we'd be going. And so last December, we took a scouting trip. We did the whole thing to get back into the jungle to see where we would be going to set up a makeshift shop and see folks and take care of them, talk to the villagers to see what kind of things they deal with. We did that in December, had a good list of some medicines that we would need, things that we could do, and then Paul, through his contact with Tim, found a couple of dentists that were willing to go. So Rob Puleo's out of New Jersey and Ryan Shearer out of Arkansas. And so the five of us then went and did that whole process. Flew to Quito, drove to the Bible school, hiked after we crossed the river back in, and set up a little clinic and provided care for a couple of days. It was quite an experience, an adventure. And an experience too. we saw a lot of things, did what we could, and of course, most important is through the process of the trip, including a church service that the pastor held with the people there. 18 people came to salvation in the jungle there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what did you find medically? I mean, you see people all the time over at your shop here in Branson, and they're medical conditions.
Could we use the term office, please, instead of shop?
Oh, well, okay. Shop. Your office. Your office.
Put you up on the rack and check you.
Your office over here, excuse me, up in the Branson Hills area. But you find people come in all the time with various things. But what did you see there that people needed when they came and sat down in front of you? How was it different from what you see here at your great, beautiful, wonderful office?
Yeah, so it highlights the difference between the two places, the two cultures, the two lifestyles that we have between a developed, probably one of the most developed countries in the world, and available and access to the highest level of medical care, right? To a jungle where they don't have running water, they don't have plumbing, they don't have air conditioning, they don't have anything. Really, truly primitive, and so it becomes very, very different. The things that you have to address versus the things that you can address. In other words, here we might have some nagging symptoms that we want to get taken care of, whereas there's some things that can be an issue of survival or truly life and death. Sometimes we didn't see anything that was acutely life and death, but there were a few cases of anemia, which can be kind of a slow killer if not taken care of. A lot of body aches, a lot of parasites.
Brings up my question.
Yeah.
You started this program many years ago, and you asked us a very, very good question. I think it was something along the lines of what was the biggest achievement in medicine ever, something like that. Do you remember what it was, Keith?
No.
No answer?
It's my opinion.
The antibiotics, maybe?
Take your hands together, Keith. What did you do the other day? Wash them together.
Oh, washing your hands.
Is that right?
Yeah. So the germ theory and eventually hand washing, just sanitary conditions, which they know nothing about, of course. And so
that's my point.
It was when we were hiking back out. I was hiking with a couple of the locals that were helping carry some of our supplies out. And these boys, they were probably 13 or 14 years old. They had an empty Evian bottle, and he was walking right down to the creek there in the jungle just to fill it up, and he was going to drink it. I said, whoa. And we, had to explain to him why that's why you get the intestinal parasites. It's where those come from. That's what makes you sick. But yeah, you're exactly right. So primitive that, they are behind in even some of the most basic concepts, such as just sanitary conditions. So we found it ironic, though, because we were there deep in the jungle, worried about parasites and avoiding parasites, and the whole shredded lettuce debacle was happening here back home. So we were protected from the various forms of diarrhea that you guys were all getting back here eating your lettuce.
What type of sanitary facilities did they use? Trenches? Use the woods? What do they use?
The woods, basically. Yeah. They have now the village we were in was probably the most developed. A village called Mamayak. They had a pretty large facility they had built for large gatherings where a lot of the villages will come in for meetings and things.
Right.
But they did have toilets, not flushing toilets, but it was a little bit more than some of the villages have.
Did you find a lot of tooth issues with the dentist people that went? Did a lot of that, and how do they react? Because they never maybe have even seen that before. Nobody's looked in their mouth.
Sure, you're exactly right. This is the first time a dentist has ever been in that, or a medical doctor for that matter, to these villages. Some of the villagers, through various means, could get access to leave the village and make their way into a town in more developed Ecuador to see a physician if they needed to. But a lot of these folks had never seen a medical professional at all. So talking to the dentists, though, they saw. Now these are guys that are seasoned missionary dentists, so
right.
they've seen this before. But yeah, it was quite a lot of decay, and they did a lot of extractions, and that's about all they could do. They couldn't restore any teeth, but just pulling the tooth that was causing them so much trouble.
I have a question, and I know this might seem off the wall, Keith, but oh my goodness, it's 8 o'clock. Can you call the office?
Ish.
Yes.
No, I got time.
You got time?
All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we want to continue on track, but you also do cosmetic surgery here in Branson,
I do?
don't you?
No.
I thought you did skin grafts and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so boy, you just took a left turn.
He's good at that.
We're talking parasites in the jungle to cosmetic facial surgery.
It's a lot more appetizing than the parasites, let me tell you.
Dude, so what did your doctor say about you? Difficult but manageable?
Yes.
Okay. Here you are, difficult but manageable, Charlie. We're going to see if we can manage it. I don't know where you're going with this, but so part of
I'll tell you where I'm going.
I get it every morning.
yes, you do. Part of ear, nose, and throat training and part of ear, nose, and throat practice is facial plastic surgery. Now, don't confuse plastic with all being cosmetic. Depends on what you mean by cosmetic. Aesthetic and cosmetic, I guess, could kind of have some.
So here's my point.
Okay.
You were not worried about cosmetic things when
No.
you were in the jungle.
No,
That was my point.
No, it was
Might have been a
okay,
left turn
good.
for you, but you're a kicker.
It was kind of a full spin, is what it was. It wasn't a left turn.
That's
so,
correct.
But no, Charlie, good. Okay, I'm with you now. I follow.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue, Travis. If you can
Give
hang
me
out
the
with
yellow
us.
pages
Hey,
and look up ENTs, will
Hey,
you?
you just sit back, open your mouth wide, and he's going to say, you can say and he's going to check your throat. We'll be back in a
No,
moment.
I'm going to keep you in my ears and my nose and out of my mouth.
All right. We're going to continue. Travis Brawner with us. Thank you, Travis, for being here. It is a pleasure. And I want to find out about the spiritual side of your trip and how that went as well, and much more as we continue.
We don't want to forget, as soon as we come back to thank him, we're going to use the names of the gentleman that got sent to Barnes Jewish and got taken care of because Travis noticed something and says, you need some help.
Awesome.
That's the stuff that helps you.
Amen. Amen.
If you guys can't keep up, shame on you.
Hey, it's 27th of August. Keith O'Neill and Charlie Ingram, 68.2 degrees official temperature, and Krista will have the weather for us coming up next. Welcome to the 8 o'clock half hour of Good Morning Ozarks. Keith O'Neill and Charlie Ingram with you on a Thursday. It's 8:02. If you missed any of what Travis Brawner had to say in the last half hour, I encourage you to go to klfcradio.com. Listen to the podcast about 12 or 1 o'clock. We'll add this section to it, and you can see what all Travis had to say. Travis, again, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, Keith, thanks for being so kind. The guys just ditched me here on the radio. Okay.
Hey,
I
you
know
would think
things.
we were mad at you if we didn't ditch you. Isn't that right?
You know what?
Uh-huh.
I know things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
In
keep
the
'em to
scriptures, it says.
Keep them to yourself.
In the scriptures, it says, "When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was in jail, you came to visit me." And it says, when did we do that? When did we do that? And the picture I have today in my mind with you and Paul and others is a picture of Ecuador. That's when you did it. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, but the least of these are right in front of us too in our community. I think that's important to not overlook. We went, excuse me, deep into the jungle to fulfill something that the missionary had kind of dreamed of for years. But we're never at a lack for opportunity to care for people. So,
How long were you there?
so it's about 2.5 days travel to get there and 2.5 days out, and it was I think 8 days total. So we were we stayed we stayed 3 nights in the jungle.
It's a question I had in my mind. Were they scared? You walk into the office here and the people you have a receptionist and they take you back and it's sterile and I'm nervous myself because you're working up in my nose very deep and I'm going, what's going on here? But I knew I'd have trusted you. They didn't know how to trust you.
Yeah. So 50 years ago, they were kind of hostile, the people in those villages. But again, because of the work of Tim and Debbie, they're very, very receptive, very kind. A little hesitant, yeah, to kind of interact on the level that we were trying to interact. But the people were very, very kind, which was, refreshing.
How about the language?
So their native tribal language is Shuar, but they are a bilingual people. Pretty much all of them speak Spanish as well, which is,
Really?
of course, the national
good.
language of Ecuador. So there was occasion where we had to have someone translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to Shuar, and then back, which was a little tricky, but that was pretty rare. Most all of them speak Spanish. So
How do you say open your mouth and say,
Really.
Abra la boca. Yeah.
So you as ear, nose, and throat guy, did you find a lot of ear issues? Or
There were a few of them, yeah. So I was, it was, pretty basic, just swimmer's ear kind of stuff. But
Really?
we had stuff along to be able to help them with that. So it was good. Something else that Paul was able to come across. Paul Etheridge was able to come across a missionary glasses kit.
Oh.
He had to take a little online course to be able to purchase one where you can do this kind of cursory vision exam with a little chart, and it's not language dependent. It's just symbols, and the person holds a little sign and points at the direction that the symbol is pointing. Kind of a little, so again, a cursory vision test.
When I was a kid, it was a E-like thing, and all you didn't
Yep,
have to.
exactly.
which
So
way
that's
is it
exactly
going?
what it was. So an E facing in 4 different directions. You had
Right.
to say which one it was. From that, then you put the kind of this multi-lens glasses on their face and go up and down with one eye, cover one eye, much like your optometrist does. Is this better? Is this better? And from there, get a number for lenses for each eye and pop them into these just standard frames that he had, and give someone some glasses. And it was that was also something that was just it was amazing. We went thinking about the villagers and the people that would come in for care. Well, the pastor of the main village there, he was one of the first ones that he tested, put glasses on him, and the guy went, "Wow, I can see." And this was pretty neat. He held up his Bible to read from his Bible first thing to see that he could see, but not near as well. So to give the pastor of this small village some glasses to be able to read his Bible easier, and was a pretty neat thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did they have any of the crank Bible stuff? The not solar. You crank them and you power them up. Did you ever see any of those?
No, a Bible that
Well,
gets
yeah,
cranked?
It's a device that has it talks, of course, and reads the Bible.
Oh, okay.
And you
No.
power it by
No,
cranking it.
no.
If you find the connection, I'll tell you how to get that through our buddy
Pedro has
Pedro.
that?
had those.
Did they have it in Shuar language?
They have
They have in all kinds of
they have
languages.
hundreds and
Spanish,
hundreds of
for
languages.
sure.
Yeah. That's
And
Wow.
the crank up, because you don't have to have any electricity, is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So.
So they've got in Mamayak, they had a couple of generators. We had Starlink with us, so they would crank
Oh,
up
my
the generator,
goodness.
and we'd use Starlink and communicate back a couple
Was that
hours
something
a day.
you took, or was it there?
The missionary had it.
Okay.
And he just recently got it. I think this was just the second trip into the jungle that he took it with him. So that has changed things, because we just take our phones and then connect to Starlink.
You remember
That's pretty
when
incredible.
Jerry Lilly was alive? You remember the Lilly family?
All right, absolutely.
And Jerry got to working with a couple of countries, I forget which one, on getting them internet connected. And I helped him with a couple of those from time to time. Solar powered, Keith.
Yep.
Internet connection. The world opens up. What
Yeah.
did the people see you in the village on a phone?
Yes, and some of them had phones too. They wouldn't. So I mentioned the 13, 14-year-olds. They would have phones. They wouldn't have
Really?
internet, but they would take pictures. They would. It was
My
interesting.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have some solar for energy, some, and the generators and things like that. So, and with technology comes good things and bad things, right?
Right.
So there was one that this was kind of a neat interaction. This young couple and their 2 young kids, that was he was describing some symptoms that just sounded like anxiety, and so got to talking to him. And when do you feel these feelings? His heart would race. He'd kind of get dizzy. He'd get he'd start sweating, and it just sounded like anxiety. When do you get it? Is it so trying to ascertain, is it your heart? So is it when you're exerting? No, it's when I am able to look at the news.
That'll do it.
He was whenever he did get access sometimes to connect to the internet and would look at the news, he would get anxiety. And I thought, boy, if that doesn't apply back home too. So
boy, it does to me.
Yeah, getting them access to the internet, neat, maybe a good resource, but also, boy, it just opens up a whole world of other issues that they can have. And I go back to the clean water, the hand washing. That is a problem that missionaries the world over have been trying to figure out for a long, long time, and it's one of the first things that people need really to be able to thrive better. Is you got to have water, you got to have clean water. So
I want to dive into something else for just a moment. Did you ever take the Boundary Waters your senior year? Did you ever go on that?
No,
you never did. Where's the most hiking you've ever done?
Probably on
Colorado.
that trip that you just did.
No, we've been to Colorado a few times,
Okay.
and done some high. We've summited a couple.
So give me a feel when the road stops.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some places in Taney County like that, Keith, that
Yep.
stops.
That
And
Yeah.
stops.
I don't know how many times I've come back 65 and look out towards the east and go, I wonder what it would be like just to hike through there and see
Yeah.
how many ticks, tigers, and snakes there are. So when it stops and you're not going anywhere, describe for me backpack, people helping you carry goods, paths that you walk through.
Yeah.
Describe that to me.
It was a pretty established path because the people they walk between the villages and to the river and pretty established. I would say the White River Trail out here by Dewey Short.
Okay.
It was pretty steep getting up away from the river, but then flattened out, just rolling hills after that. But the difference is it's just mud, a lot of mud, just depending on how much it had rained. And so along the way, they had laid logs and sticks and things to try to keep out of the mud. So thick forest, though, you can imagine. So very thick.
How, during the time that you were there, did you get to minister yourself one-on-one with somebody you were talking about, or was it in group meetings with the village?
So we a little bit, a couple of times. It's interesting because, there was a language barrier, of course. We had translators with us, but I speak a little bit of Spanish, enough to maybe communicate and try to minister a little bit. The people that I ministered to, that I found ministering to, was more so maybe the bus driver getting us to and from, or different places like that. But the direct, so ministering the gospel, kind of sharing and ministering in the villages, we had it set up to be as efficient as possible because people came in for the medical, but as soon as they saw the medical doctor or the dentist, they would go for spiritual counseling, and so the local pastors would be the ones to provide the spiritual counseling, which is what we wanted, because we want them to see their local pastors in these villages as their spiritual oversight, their spiritual guidance, that they could come back to them and they would be with them.
So spiritually, overall, it's that Christian. You find other stuff. What kind of? How would you describe the general population?
those that had faith, it was generally spiritual. It was generally Christian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Were you ever scared?
Crossing that river.
Yeah.
It was. I wouldn't say scared. So I'm
anxious.
I tend to be a kind of what's plan B, or what's my bailout here, in a dangerous situation or something. And so honestly, having Paul with us, I was never concerned about like survival or being in the jungle or things like that. A little bit anxious crossing the river. It was about a 35-foot. Just imagine a really, really big canoe, fiberglass canoe with this kind of hand steer 40-horse motor on the back, and the water was moving in such a way that he was pointed upstream on the side of the river where we are. We get in the boat. He takes off, and the bow of that boat stayed pointing upstream for the first third of the way across, and he just kind of like feathered it across the river because most of the power had to be directed upstream.
Oh.
And then you could tell he could do it in his sleep. Kind of let the bow turn toward the other side, and then got to the other side, and then kind of pulled right up along But there were rapids up above. There were rapids below. You could hear the rapids below us. And all I could think halfway across the river is, if this little 40-horse motor goes out, we don't have a plan. We don't have, there's no plan B
life
there.
jackets?
So there's no life jacket. One little lifesaver, the little ring, sitting in there, and there, 8 of us in the boat. That was the only time that I looked around and thought this could be pretty treacherous. But
anybody carrying a weapon?
no.
No weapons.
No.
Keith, think with me for a second. No weapon, no weapons.
No weapons.
So you say, Lord, belongs to you.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What do you do if you see a snake?
Yeah, and Tim Anderson is pretty inspiring, the way that he functions there in the jungle. It bathes everything in prayer before every little trip. We cross right before we cross the river. He prays over the trip
Sure.
across the river. Pray, and it really is leaving it in the Lord's hands. It's,
speaking of leaving in the Lord's hands, listen to this after these spots.
All right. Travis Brawner, our guest today, and I'll tell you again, if you have missed anything that he has had to say, you could go to klfcradio.com later today about 12 or 1 o'clock and listen to the podcast. And Travis, we can't thank you enough for your time.
glad to be here. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Well, I want to do something. We like to do this on Fridays.
Today's Thursday.
So I said we like to do this on Fridays. We're going to do it today on Thursday.
Okay.
Stay with me, Doc.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Just because you got the mask on and you want to wash your hands, you got to have assistance, okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Keith, you guys got to stop this.
Hey, there's 2 of us. We can gang up.
I'm pretty sensitive. Wrap up. Wrap up.
Wrap. Yes. What?
This is part of my problem. Okay. Use the cough button. Wrap up with Travis, and we're going to take our last 7 or 8 minutes to just be popcorn time.
Well, we talked about your trip, Travis, and we appreciate that. But day to day, you've got a great practice here in our area. And give me a little bit of information where the office, beautiful office, is located, and what kind of things are you actually finding that you're working on, folks here?
So the office is up at Branson Hills Parkway, across from the Recplex. 17 years we just passed in practice in town. So I'm the only ENT in town. So we really kind of see and do most all of it. There, the thing about rural medicine, which we are, is there are a lot of things that we can take care of and some that we have to send out. And so I think that's a big part of what I do. Occasionally there's something that's beyond what we could handle in our small town, and so we'll tend to help guide people to where they do need to go. But a lot, most of the bread and butter things that need to be taken care of for ENT, we can.
So let's talk about this for a second, Keith. So I've got the packing in my nose.
Right.
This is
And he took it out.
Yeah, he did the first time.
Yeah.
Not the second time.
I was in the jungle.
He went
second
to the
time.
jungle.
That's right.
So I said I got some options, Keith.
Now,
I could have you help me.
oh, I offered, Travis.
I could go back to the emergency room, but I didn't have 12 hours. Okay.
That's true.
So I asked Travis a question. Is there an ENT that you would recommend? I don't know if I use the word recommend, but you gave me a guy in Springfield. Do you remember his name?
Yeah, Jacob Smith.
Let me tell you about Jacob Smith. I looked up his bio. He's a hog man, Keith.
Oh, he is?
Arkansas guy.
All right. Well,
So
there
I
you
go, talked about you. He knew you played football. Great guy. And then he told me, Arkansas, I said, do you know the rest of my background? No. I'm from Harrison. Why? No. You used to kill us. Okay. And then he had an injury like Matt had, something like that, and couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what his specialty is?
Ear, nose, and throat.
No, besides that in the sports field.
No.
Golf.
Oh, yeah.
He was inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame that they have down in Harrison.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
And he did a great job for me. Thank you for referring him.
Jacob would not be a guy to tell you about his accolades. That's for sure. He's phenomenal. He's up at Cox in Springfield, and I have the highest respect for him. A wonderful follower of Jesus, puts his faith before everything else, just like we talked about, and great family man, and a great surgeon, great doctor.
He was very kind to me.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be a little gentler than you were.
He doesn't know you like either.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Listen, as Matt's listening this morning, and we're not going to tell any of those stories. He said, great stories from your trip.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy named Chris Campbell, listen to this, Keith. Great to hear your voice on the show this morning. Was praying for you yesterday for whatever procedure you had.
All right.
How neat is that?
That's super.
Mom and Dad, tell us about your family. Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad are doing well. Yeah.
Mom's still speaking?
She does from time to time. Yeah. They're busy, following grandkids all over the place.
Oh my goodness, for sure.
Yeah, but you know about that, don't you?
Oh my goodness, 11 of them, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are we missing, Travis? So Charlie, we didn't talk about the windows and doors to your sinuses.
Yeah, we didn't get that deep into the sinuses, and that's okay.
Well,
we were
speaking
too,
of deep
too
into
busy
the-
talking
speak-
about Charlie's procedures.
Speaking of deep into the sinuses, that's where I found myself in Travis' office. Keith.
Yeah.
What's your most, after all these years, what's your most enjoyable part of your practice?
I think the variety. So it's why I wanted to come and be a general ENT, small town, it's the community, and so I think that's one of the most enjoyable things. Just getting to be a part of a community that functions like ours does, and to be able to provide for a need that people have and participate in the community like we're able to. So I think that. If I could sum it up.
If I could make just a comment, Keith, I've signed the HIPAA form for the radio station.
Yeah.
So it's been perfectly all right for us to talk about
There
this.
you go. Okay.
You can talk about yourself all you want.
What'd they say you were marginal, but what'd they say?
He said he was
challenging.
He said he was challenging but manageable.
Manageable. I don't know
Challenging
about the manageable part.
There are so many things I could say right now, but I'm using the filter. Honey, I'm going to be kind to these people. Okay. Friendships are so great.
Amen.
I want to talk about one last thing for a minute, more than that. Maybe we've got 5 minutes. The swim meets.
Mm-hmm.
Think of those times.
Yeah.
I'll never put my hand in a cashew jar again without thinking you slapping my hand. Because Keith, he didn't want my dirty hands in his cashew bucket.
No.
Because he forgot the greatest advancement in medical history was clean hands.
That's right.
So wait. Okay, Keith, we're at an event together, and I've got a can of cashew nuts.
Right.
And you say, those smell good. I think I'd like a few of them. And I reach over the can. How are you going to take the cashews from me?
Well, I'd hold my hand out.
So I could pour them out into your hand.
Into my hand.
Okay. So some people are just going to take their grimy hand and reach it right into the can of cashews and take a handful and think nothing of it. So
I wonder who would do that.
I can't imagine.
Can't imagine anybody I know that would.
I got corrected.
I bet you did.
And I handled it very well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Bam.
So, Mahomes, is he going to play in the next exhibition game or not take a chance of getting hurt?
I don't know. What do you think?
We'll find out tomorrow.
Does it matter? Does it matter? Does he need to play in it?
No, he doesn't need to play.
How about Kelsey?
So whether he will, I don't know. Does he need to? I don't think it's worth the risk.
That's exactly right. Not worth the risk, Travis.
Kelsey,
he's got enough game. If he's a rookie or second year, you needing the reps, needing to get comfortable with game situations, maybe so. But he's got enough. He's ready.
Yeah. Hey, another thing that in our town we are very, very blessed with is people like you that are on the teaching teams at churches, and you been on the teaching team over at Woodland Hills where Kathy and I attend, and many others do, and Krista and Darren, and you teach often. This time, and there was a series about Jesus being the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
And you taught the first one. And you teach often, and we appreciate it, and just want to let you know that it does not go unnoticed that you, as a professional in this city, give your time to do that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith. It's an honor and a joy to get to do it. Really is, and Ted does a great job with the teaching team, and of course he's just a world-class teacher himself. And what people don't see behind the scenes, though, is that he orchestrates the Sunday morning messages in a way that really makes it easy for the teaching team. And so he's gifted in that. He's a gifted teacher, but he's a gifted just kind of organizer and overseer of that part of our church. And so I'm grateful for that he does.
So if there's a particular group of messages, he doesn't just throw a marble in it and you draw out which one you're going to do, right?
He spends far more thought and time on putting it all together than one could imagine. Thank you.
I don't want to embarrass you before we go, but you got to hear
this. But here, you don't want to, but here we go.
We're about out of time. Chris has got the
challenging but manageable.
No. Would you? How do you know how I feel today? We have those counselors come on from the mental health place all the time, Keith.
Yeah, we'll have them. We'll have Ruben back.
Have Ruben back to talk about it, because they'd tell you guys, be kind.
We are.
Honey, I'm going to come home and I think I'm going to need a little horse rag today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you another cough drop.
I can't use all the names, but you just got to know this. We had a gentleman sit in this chair, we'll tell you when we're off the air. And he had some unbelievable procedures done at Barnes Jewish. Saved his life. And so he sat here on the program less than, 4 or 5 days ago, maybe a week.
Yeah, something like that.
And said he was in your office and you saw something. And you didn't just say, come back tomorrow. You said, you need to have this looked at. And he did what a lot of people need to do. And if you listen to this and it happens to you, it happened to Mary, my wife, and it happened to this gentleman. He went to the emergency room at Barnes Jewish, and the rest is history, Keith.
Yep.
Because they walked in, saw the problem, immediately got him in. And I want to thank you for being sensitive to people like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Because instead of just patting him on the back, say, come back tomorrow and take 2 Tylenol. So now he did that to me, Keith, one time.
He did.
Take 2 Tylenol and don't come back.
Don't come back.
It's Good Morning Ozarks, 88.1 FM.
Oh, my. Hey, Travis, thank you, my friend, for being here. And come back again. And anytime that, you want to offer some challenging but manageable advice to my friend, you do so, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here. I respect both of you guys. I mean that. We joke a lot, but I have great respect for
Then why is
both
the price
of you.
so high?
The price for what?
Coming to the show.
Yeah.
Travis, great job.
Okay, thank you.
Good
Thank
job.
you, Charlie. Thank you, Keith.
Well, we'll be back with our first Football Friday
Oh,
tomorrow.
shoot.
Hey, Football Friday,
Matt,
what?
Matt
Bang.
sent some comments.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Did
we,
he?
we don't have time to ask, Travis.
Okay.
Darn.
All right. Well,
Darn.
back tomorrow with us. Love to invite you to join us for Football Friday tomorrow. Put all your trust in Jesus. God bless you. Boy, Travis did that as he was traveling over that river. I'll tell you that for sure. See you tomorrow.
How about
68.2
mosquitoes,
degrees. Oh, mosquitoes and the snakes and all that stuff. We didn't even get to that. My goodness. Can't imagine it. See you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a blessed and wonderful Thursday. Bye-bye.